Even those comments are backed up by the way the players are playing at the moment. They still believe.
1,000,000%, and that's why I'm saying to you that we have a great group of players, but when you're 12th in the league or 13th in the league, there's not a great deal of expectation. You know, of course the supporters still demand, but there's not that expectation that you then have when you're 5th or 6th in the league. And that's part of being a football player, and that's part of gaining promotion, is managing those expectations and dealing with those expectations. And that's just something as a team we need to grow into, that there are expectations. And it's, of course, as you've seen at the weekend, it's just a fine balance. There's a desperation to get the result that everybody wants, but also you've got to manage that desperation in a way where we keep focusing on delivering what we know we can. And that I think will decide a lot between now and the end of the season.
Are the players taking that on board? Because like you say, that desperation can get in the way if you don't do it properly.
Of course it does, but it's part of being a football player, and it's part of developing as a player. Some of the players, fortunately, have been through it before. They understand that. For some of our young players, this is new to them, and it's part and parcel of developing. And it's part of developing as a team, that you grow all the time, you deal with these situations, you analyse these situations, and you try and improve on them.
You mentioned Anthony Gerrard working with the young players. Is that an example of what you're doing now in placing more responsibility on the older group?
I think that's a must. You know, it's something that was very much the way when I was a younger player, that senior players would take you under their wing and try and advise you and support you and help you. And I think it's huge, especially if you're trying to create the right culture within a football club. We all have a responsibility, and the senior players have a responsibility to take care of the younger players and develop them. There's nothing better as a senior player than seeing a young player that you've helped and support go on and have a good career. It's a terrific feeling, and you know, I think it's really important that that our senior players take that responsibility.
And you mentioned Jared on that. I've just watched you on training there. His first cross from Danny Granger went low. It would have been picked up by an attacker. You shouted at him, height.
Yeah.
Next cross comes in and he does it.
Of course.
How good is it to see a boy react like that?
Of course, and the big thing is standards. You know, that they have to understand that when you're a young player and coming in, you have to adhere to those standards. And we'll continue to push them. And that's what I'm talking about when you talk about the old school management. It was very much that there was standards driven all the time, and it's important again that you never lose those standards. But I suppose you shout in a slightly different way now.
Some big clubs this season have found out that if you let Newport get a head of steam up, that Rodney Parade can be a tough place to go. We'll have to watch out for that.
Yeah, and we've worked on a couple of aspects today. One, trying to deny them at source, which is the best way. But the second one is that dealing with the basics of football, because they're very, very effective at what they do. They cross, they put you under pressure, they ask questions of you, and if you don't deal with that, you'll lose the game.
Commandi's shone because of that type of delivery this season, so he'll have to be watched.
The two strikers, you know, they're very dangerous from cross balls, both very effective at what they do, and it'll be a real test for us. You know, they're a good team, and they have good crossers as well. And when they have the chance to cross, they don't turn that opportunity down. So we have to be prepared. And as I've said, we've worked hard on that, and hopefully we'll create the right mindset going into that game.